وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وبعد. After giving thanks and praise to Allah Almighty and sending peace and salutation to the soul of the messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family members, his companions, and whoever follow the upward step to the day of judgment and to proceed. Inshallah, today we'll continue our class on the Tafsir of Surah Qalam. We're going to move on today from ayah number 4 coming down, but inshallah before we move on we will complete, because we've been talking about the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today we'll complete it by mentioning some ahadith which Imam al-Qurtubi mentioned in his Tafsir relating to the virtue of good character in general. Imam al-Qurtubi mentioned the hadith that is narrated by Abu Dharr al-Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, who said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ittaqillaha haythuma kunt wa atbi'i as-sayyi'ata al-hasana tamhuha wa khaliqin nasa bi khuluqin hasan." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Fear Allah wheresoever you may be." Right? Fear Allah wheresoever you may be, whether you are in public or in secret, whether you're in the masjid or in your homes. What is required from us is to fear Allah wheresoever we may be, because He the Most High sees us and hears in everything that we do. He is with us wheresoever we may be, with His hearing and seeing. So the Prophet said, fear Allah wheresoever you may be, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا, and follow your evil deed with good deed, it will expiate it. Meaning, if you fall short, remember to do good deeds. So this is also the means of what? Seeking forgiveness from Allah the Almighty, by wiping the evil deed that you commit by following it with good deeds. So the Prophet said, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ, and live with the people with good character. Deal with the people with good character. And examples of good characters are what we have mentioned about how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with his companions, his wives, and even the non-believers. He said this hadith is Hasan al-Sahih, is sound and is authentic. He also mentioned the hadith of Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu, who said that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma shay'un afqalu fi mizani al-mu'min yawm al-qiyamati min husni al-khuluq." He said nothing makes the scale of the good believer, the scale of the believer heavier on the day of judgment more than good character does. So good character on the day of judgment will make the scale of your good deeds heavier than prayer and fasting. This also indicates on the virtue of good character. The Prophet ﷺ also mentioned in the hadith that is narrated by Abu Hurairah, who says, سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما من شيء يوضع في الميزان أثقل من حسن الخلق وإن صاحب حسن الخلق ليبلغ به درجة صاحب الصلاة والصوم. Then the Prophet also ﷺ said, nothing makes the scale of our good deeds heavier than good character. And then he said, good character, meaning the person with good character will reach the level that someone who prays in the night and who fasts in the day would not reach. So which means the one who maybe fasts once every while but has good character and he's dealing with the people, and the one who maybe spend the night once every while, his scale of good deeds on the day of judgment will be heavier than the one who spends the night every day and who fasts every Mondays and Thursdays. However, his dealing with the people is what? Is horrible. So again, this is telling us the virtue of adorning ourselves with good character. Abu Hurairah also said, سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة فقال تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. When the Prophet was asked about the things that lead people to Jannah the most, The Prophet said, Taqwallah, the fear of Allah, wa husn al-khuluq, and good character. Because one thing we have to understand, there are rights of Allah the Almighty that you have to fulfill, and there are rights of the people, which are the creatures, that you have to fulfill. If you fulfill the rights of Allah but ignore the rights of the people by dealing with them with good character, then you are not a good believer. So combining between the two, that is making sure that you give Allah the Almighty His right, establishing the 5 daily prayers, fasting in the month of Ramadan, paying your zakat, performing pilgrimage if you have the ability to do so, and then making sure that you stay away from harming the people. And we will mention the definition of good character as our scholars mentioned here. He mentioned that Abdullah ibn Mubarak said, Husnul khuluq, good character is bastul wajh wa badlul ma'ruf wa kafful adha. It's a good character is to confront the people with a smiling face. Be nice to the people. Constantly confront the people with smiling face. وَبَذْلُ الْمَعْرُوفِ, and being kind to them with your wealth. If Allah the Almighty bless you with money, be generous to the people with your wealth. وَكَفُّ الْأَذَى, and withhold from harming the people. There's another hadith in which Abu Dharr asked the Prophet ﷺ saying, Ya Rasulullah, Ayyul mu'min or ayyul muslimina aslam, who amongst the believers or the Muslims is saved? The Prophet said, the one whom the Muslims are saved from the harm of his tongue and his limbs. And again, this is telling us that the one who is harming his neighbors and his fellow Muslims and the creatures in general is not safe. May the Almighty grant us protection from that. Ameen. Jabir ibn Abdullah said that the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna min ahabbikum ilayya wa aqrabakum minni majlisan yawm al-qiyamah ahasinakum akhlaqa. He said, the most beloved one of you and the closest one of you to me on the day of judgment are the best of you in their character. Wa inna abghadakum ilayya wa ab'adakum minni majlisan yawm al-qiyamah al-thartharun wal mutashaddiqun wal mutafayhikun. Then the Prophet said, but the farthest one of you from me on the day of judgment, and the most hateful one of you to me are those who run their mouth a lot, those who brag with what Allah the Almighty has blessed them with. So the Prophet used the word al-mutafayhikun wal-mutashaddiqun. So the companions asked, they said, who are mutashaddiqun and mutafayyiqun? And the Prophet said, al-mutakabbirun, those who are arrogant. So those who brag a lot are arrogant, because those who are humble, they don't brag with what Allah the Almighty has given them. Rather, they say, Masha Allah. You know, this is what Allah the Almighty will for me. La quwwata illa billah. I have no strength to obtain this except with the help of Allah the Almighty. But those who are arrogant, they think that is their smartness or their intelligence that made them acquire what they acquire. So they look down upon those who do not have it, and they're being boastful. So the Prophet ﷺ said, people like these are those who are most hateful to him, and those who will be the farthest one of the people from him on the day of judgment. May the Almighty not make us like that. Ameen. We're going to move to the next verses where He the Most High mentioned, and that's number 5 going down. He the Most High mentioned saying, فَسَتُبْصِرُ وَيُبَصِرُونَ بِأَيِّكُمُ الْمَفْتُونَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ ضَلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُهْتَدِينَ. He said, فَسَتُبْصِرُ وَيُبَصِرُونَ, addressing the Prophet ﷺ. He said, you will soon see, and they will also soon see. And this is referring to who? The disbelievers who accuse the Prophet ﷺ of insanity. So the Prophet, Allah the Almighty said, فَسَتُبْصِرُ وَيُبَصِرُونَ, you Muhammad ﷺ will soon see, and they will soon see. بِأَيِّكُمُ الْمَفْتُونَ, which of you is tested with insanity? They said the Prophet is insane. So Allah is what said they will soon know which of the two parties is tested with insanity. The one who believes that Allah the Almighty is the only one who deserves to be worshipped, and that Islam is the true religion, or the one whose creed is established on the worship of statues that they built with their own hands. Those who believe that the Lord of all that exists has descended from his throne of glory and entered into a belly of a woman and remained there for a period of time. Then she gave birth to Allah, subhanallah, as the Christians are claiming. And then this God that they are worshiping, he grew up, he was breastfed, he was playing with children, then he grew up, then the Jews started to chase him, and then they grabbed him, and they crucified him, then they threw a rock at him, they spit on his face, and then he died. Then they buried him, then he raised up after 3 days, and then he ascended to the heavens, and now he is the God, all of a sudden. He is the God that ruled the world. I mean, this does not make any sense. So are you accusing we, the Muslims, who believe that Allah the Almighty is the one with perfect attributes? He is the one who's the omnipotent, the omniscient, the one whom the creatures cannot reach, let alone harm. Or those who claim that God is Jesus, or God is the statues that they built with their hands. So بِأَيِّكُمُ الْمَفْتُونَ, who amongst you is tested with insanity? إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ ضَلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. Indeed, your Lord knows best the one who is astray from his path, and he is the one who knows best the one who is upon the right path. And of course, the Muslims are upon the what? The right path. You know, sometimes they will say to, how do you know that you're upon the right path? We know that we are upon the right path with the reason and the intellect that Allah the Almighty has given us to be able to differentiate between right and wrong, between light and darkness, between truth and falsehood. This is the reason why we will be held accountable on the day of judgment. Allah will ask you, did you use the brain that I gave you to be able to differ? Because everybody claims that they are upon the truth. You understand? The other worshiper will claim that they are upon the truth. But the truth is proven by proofs. And the proofs are able to be analyzed and detected by the intellect that Allah the Almighty has given us. So if you do not utilize your intellect to know the truth, then you will be held accountable on the day of judgment. The He Most High continued to address the Prophet ﷺ, saying, فَلَا تُطْعِ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ. So do not follow the rejectors, those who rejected the truth. The reason being is, وَدُّوا لَوْ تُدْهِنُوا فَيُدْهِنُونَ, because they wish that you, Muhammad ﷺ, and the Muslims will compromise with them so that they will also compromise with you. So that these believers want the Prophet to compromise with them in their deen, to believe that it's okay to worship what? The idols. Just don't talk about our God. If you don't talk about our God, we will not talk about your God. We will all be poor. Then Allah the Almighty said, this is what they want you to do. Do not do it. And the word al-mudahana, which is compromise, is to be lenient in something that does not deserve leniency. And this is what some interfaith groups call people to do. You know, accepting that it is okay to accept the homosexuals, to the point that some churches today, you know, they welcome homosexuals. And we have some Muslims now who build messages saying that the homosexuals are welcome. You know, if they choose to do that, that doesn't mean that we should accept what they are doing. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. So you cannot force people to accept something that is wrong. But this is the time that we are living now. People are promoting evil, and they are enforcing us to believe and to accept it. May Allah the Almighty protect us all from that. Amen. So Allah the Almighty is warning the Prophet and the Muslims in general not to compromise with our religion. Then he the Most High said, وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ هَمَّازٍ مَّشَّاءٍ بِنَمِيمٍ مَّنَّاعٍ لِلْخَيْرِ مُعْتَدٍ أَثِيمٍ عُتُلٍّ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ زَنِيمٍ أَن كَانَ ذَا مَالٍ وَبَنِينَ إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا قَالَ أَسَاطِيرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. This verse, our scholars say it is revealed about Walid ibn al-Mughira, and others said it is revealed on Abu Jahl, but it is applied on everyone who has these evil traits and character which Allah the Almighty mentioned here. So Allah the Almighty is warning the Prophet ﷺ, saying, وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ. Do not follow every or any halaf. And the word halaf is from the derivative of the word halifa yahlifu, halifun wa halaf, meaning someone who swears a lot, someone who constantly swears. And swearing is generally disliked if there is no reason for you to swear. You understand? Some people, they swear on something that is not significant, something that is disliked in our deen. And sometimes swearing becomes mandatory if it is something that is essential, if you try to prove something that is important and necessary. Like Allah the Almighty commanded the Prophet ﷺ when the disbelievers are asking him about the truthfulness of the Quran. He the Most High said, وَيَسْتَنْبِئُونَكَ أَحَقٌ هُوَ. And they were asking you, is this Quran true? Allah the Almighty said, say to them, I wa Rabbi. Say to them, yes, and by my Lord, إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌ. It is the truth, but most of you do not know. And likewise, when they argue with the Prophet about the Day of Judgment, He the Most High said, قُلْ بَلَا وَرَبِّي لَتَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ. Say to them, O Muhammad, indeed, the Day of Judgment shall come to pass, and I swear by my Lord, the knower of the unseen. So again, if you are trying to prove something that is necessary and important, it is recommended, and sometimes it becomes mandatory upon you to swear. But sometimes swearing becomes haram, and that is if you swear while lying. This is a major sin. But what is worse than this is to swear by other than Allah, even if you are telling the truth. The reason being is because this is considered shirk. That is why the predecessors said, لأن أحلف بالله كاذبا أحب إلي من أن أحلف بغير الله صادقا. He said, I would rather swear by Allah while telling the lie than swear by other than Allah while telling the truth. This doesn't mean that they are saying it's okay to swear by Allah while lying, but they are trying to prove to us how serious it is to swear by other than Allah, even if you are telling the truth. So swearing by other than Allah while telling the truth or lying is considered shirk. So we ask Allah the Almighty to keep us away from that. Ameen. So Allah the Almighty said to the Prophet ﷺ, وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ. And the word mahin is someone who is degraded, someone who has a very low esteem. Our scholars said mahin is al-kadhab, is referred to the liar. And of course, the one who lies is someone with a low self-esteem. Because if you respect yourself, you will not lie. If you have some self-esteem, you will not lie. So the one who lies is someone with a very low self-esteem. And we've mentioned in our previous class that lying is a trait from the traits of the hypocrites. So He the Most High said to the Prophet ﷺ, do not follow someone who swears a lot, and someone who is a liar. And if you see, Allah the Almighty has connected between lying and swearing, because most of the time, those who swears a lot are lies. Those who swear a lot are lies. And this is what the hypocrites did. They came to the Prophet ﷺ, testifying and swearing that they have spoken the truth, when in reality they are lying. So here the Messiah said, "Ittahadu aymanahum junnah." They have made their oath to be a protection for them. So they will lie and they will say, "I swear I did not say this," and the Prophet will let them go. But they're not going to escape from Allah the Almighty on the day of judgment. Then here the Messiah continued to commend the Prophet ﷺ to stay away from people with these type of qualities. He said, "Hammazim masha'in binamim." And the word Hammaz is from the word, derivative of the word al-hams, al-humaza, which is the plural. Allah the Almighty said, "Alladhi Hammaz." Hammaz is alladhi yadhkuru an-nas fi wujuhihim. Imam al-Qurtubi said, the Hammaz is someone who slander people, right? Or someone who talk bad about people in their presence in order to taint their reputation. And this is how some people are. They just want to taint your reputation and make you feel low in the presence of the people. So these are Hammaz. And Lamad is the one who talk bad about someone in his absence in order, again, with the intention of what, tainting his reputation. So people like those, the slanderers, the defamers, the fault finders, are people who harm the reputation of others by communicating false statement about them. And this right here is a major sin. We ask Allah the Almighty to keep us away from that. Amen. Our scholars mention that Lamaz, which is the second, is a backbiter, because the backbiter is the one who talk about someone in his absence. قال أبو العالية وعطاء ابن أبي رباح والحسن أيضا وقال مقاتل ضد هذا الكلام إن الهمزة الذي يكتاب بالغيبة واللمزة الذي يكتاب في الوجه. Again, this is the same thing that we have mentioned, that humazat are those who backbite people in their absence, and lumazat are those who talk bad about people in their presence. And both are evil character that we need to stay away from. Then here the Most High mentioned saying, Masha'im binamim, the one who travels or walk around with pills. And this is the tale-teller, the gossiper, who spreads gossip. And this is one of the major sins, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, La yadkhulul jannah namam. He said the gossiper, the tale-teller, will not enter Jannah. وقال الشاعر, and the Sha'ir said, and Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هل تدرون من شراركم. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do you know who are the worst people amongst you? قالوا الله ورسوله أعلم. They said, only Allah and His Messenger know best. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, شراركم ذو الوجهين. The worst of you are those who are double-faced. Wa alaikum assalam. The Muslims who are double-faced. And this is hypocrites. الذي يأتي هؤلاء بوجه وهؤلاء بوجه. The one who will go with to these people with some face, and he will go to the others with another face. عن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما قال مر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بقبرين جديدين فقال إنهما ليعذبان. Abdullah ibn Abbas also said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم passed by a grave, and this grave looked like they have been just buried not too long ago. So the Prophet said, those who are in these graves are being punished. وَمَا يُعَذِّبَانِ لِكَبِيرٍ, and they are not being punished for something that you guys look to be something major, meaning they are being punished for something that you consider to be trifle, meaning little. قال فأما أحدهما, but as for one of them, فكان لا يستنزه من البول, he is someone who does not protect himself from his urine, meaning when he pees, he doesn't care whether the urine touch his clothing or not. And this is teaching us that lack of cleanliness can lead to someone being tortured in his graves. May the Almighty protect us from that. Amen. This وَأَمَّا الْآخَرُ, but as for the other one, فَكَانَ يَمْشِي بِالْمَمِيمَةِ, that he is someone who is a gossiper, a tale-teller, a tale-carrier. He will come to this fulan and say, oh, did you hear what so-and-so say about you? And then he will go to that other individual and say, oh, did you hear what so-and-so say about you? And then he will create enmity between them and cause separation and division between them. May the Almighty grant us protection from that. Amen. That is why our noble scholar Abu Layth said, فَإِنَّ النَّمَّامِ ذَلِيلٌ. He said the tale-teller is someone who is dhalil fi dunya. He is someone who is scorned, degraded person in this life of this dunya. وَهُوَ فِي عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ. And after he died, he'll be punished in his grave. Just think about it. What benefit do you get from creating enmity between two individuals, two loved ones? You come and divide between them and separate between them. Allah the Almighty mentioned, talking about the namam, He said we should stay away from the namam. وَهُوَ فِي النَّارِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامِ. He said, and on the day of judgment, he will end up in the hellfire, آيِسٌ مِّن رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, giving up hope from the mercy of Allah the Almighty. But these are one of the common sins that people commit these days. Backbiting, slandering, and telling. These are common sins that people commit. You know, even amongst the students of knowledge, people commit this, and they call this what? Jarh wa ta'dil. When in reality, Jarh wa ta'dil has a separate meaning and section according to our scholars. But then they use this as a justification of talking bad about others in order to ruin their reputation with the name of Jarh wa ta'dil. And we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us protection from that. Amen. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma samat man dhalla ya'kulu luhum an-nas." The one who continues to eat the meat of the people is not considered fasting person. So when you fast and you engage in backbiting, you are not considered a fasting person. Does that mean that you have to make up your fasting? Does that mean that you have to make up your fasting because you backbited somebody? No? Then why did the Prophet say, Masama, man dhalla ya'kulu luhum an-nas? He is not considered fasting person, the one who continues to eat the meat of the people.
Because he eating the flesh of his brother for backbiting?
Yeah.
There's no reward or ajr or benefit in his fast, but he doesn't have to make it up.
He doesn't have to make it up. So here, it will help us to be able to differentiate between the different kinds of negation. So sometimes there is nafyu kamal, which is the negation of perfection, and there is nafyu sihha, the negation of validation, right? And the third form of negation is what nafyu wujud, the negation of existence, right? When you say La ilaha illallah, meaning there is no deity that is worthy of worship, that is existent, that is worthy of worship but Allah, right? When the Prophet said, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsi. None of you will not be a true believer until he love for his brother that which he loved for himself. So now if he would be a believer, so he has negated what? Faith. So does that mean that if you did not love your brother the way you love yourself, you're not a believer? No. So this negation is the negation of what? Perfection. It's the negation of perfection. But when the Prophet said, La salata liman lam yaqra bi Fatihatil Kitab, there is no prayer for the one who did not recite Al-Fatiha. This negation right here is a negation of validation, meaning your prayer is not valid if you did not recite Al-Fatiha, right? But this negation right here, with regard to the fasting person, when the Prophet said he will not be considered fasting person, the one who continues to eat the flesh of the people, the negation here is a negation of perfection and completion, meaning his fasting will not be perfect. He will not get the full reward of his fasting because he will end up without any reward. But then the fasting is valid. I hope this is clear. All right. And this is the reason why we give zakatul fitr at the ending of Ramadan. Because the Prophet says zakatul fitr is tuhratun lis-sa'imi min al-rafath wal-lagw wa tu'matun lil-masakin. Giving zakatul fitr will be a purification for the fasting person from the flirtation that he fell into, or lagw, which is a vain conversation, or vanity in general, which he has engaged into during his fasting. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, said, Iyyakum wa dhikran nas. He said, stay away from talking about people. Stop talking about people in general. فَإِنَّهُ دَاءٌ, because doing that is an illness. The more you talk about people, the more you are affecting your heart. And then he said, وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Rather, instead of having the names of people on your tongue, replace it with the name of Allah, with the remembrance of Allah. Mention Allah the Almighty. Because when you do that, فَإِنَّهُ شِفَاءٌ, that will be a healing for your heart. So we have to be like how the predecessors are, to keep the names of people out of our mouth. The Prophet ﷺ, as a matter of fact, he said, do not come to me, do not narrate to me the shortcoming of my companions, because I want to look at each and every one of them with what? With respect. Because if he's come to me and say something ill or negative about one of my companions, that's gonna have something in my heart towards that individual. So the Prophet don't want us to be like that. Our noble scholar, Imaam Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he mentioned in his book, Miftah Dar al-Sa'adah, that Allah the Almighty is Rahim. He is most merciful, and He wants us to be merciful, right? He is forgiven, and He wants us to be forgiven. And He loves to conceal the shortcoming of His slaves, and He wants His slaves to conceal the shortcoming of their brothers, right? And He will treat the slave like the way the slave treat his creatures. So whoever is merciful to the people, Allah will be merciful to him. And whoever is forgiven, Allah will forgive him. Whoever conceals their shortcoming, Allah will conceal their shortcoming. But whoever traces the shortcoming of the believers, Allah the Almighty will trace their shortcoming. And whoever Allah the Almighty traces his shortcoming, then what's going to happen to that individual? Of course, he will be ruined. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us amongst those who keep our tongue moisturized with the remembrance of Allah the Almighty, instead of remembrance of people and saying negative things about them just to make them feel bad. So all this is talking about halaf, the one who swears a lot; kadhab, the one who lies; hamas, the slander; lammas, the backbiter; namam, the gossiper. And all these are evil traits. Ali ibn al-Hussein radiallahu anhu also said, he said, I heard a man yaktabu akhar, backbiting other one. فقال, so he said to him, إياك والغيبة, stay away from backbiting. فإنها إدام كلاب الناس, because backbiting people is the soup of the dogs of the people, meaning the soup that you give to your dog is considered what? Backbiting. He's also resembling someone who backbite others, like someone who is eating the soup that is given to the dog of people's dog in general, like dog food in general. And also he's saying this to resemble the one who backbites someone with someone who is eating dog food. And this is also a form of what? Degrading that individual. Meaning the one who backbites others is someone with a low self-esteem. He also said, it is said to Amr ibn Ubaid, لَقَدْ وَقَعَ فِيكَ فُلَانٍ. He said, Fulan has spoken bad about you. Hatta rahimnak, to the point that we feel bad for you. You understand? Like someone come to you and say, listen man, I heard, Muhammad talking bad about you. He was talking bad about, he was talking about you like a dog. To the point that I even feel bad. I sympathize for you. So Amr said, Iyahu farhamu. No, you should rather sympathize for him, not me. You understand? So if somebody talk bad about you, he is giving you his good deeds. And he is committing a major sin. If you come talking about this brother's sin, in reality you are committing something that is worse than what he has committed. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us protection from that. Amen. وَقَالَ رَجُلٌ لِلْحَسَنِ, and a man said to Hassan again, بَلَغَنِي أَنَّكَ تَكْتَابُنِي فَقَالَ لَمْ يَبْلُغْ قَدْرُكْ إِنْدِي أَنْ أُحَكِّمَكَ فِي حَسَنَاتِي. So a man came to Hassan al-Basri and he said to him, I heard that you are backbiting me. So Hassan said to him, you are not that precious to me for me to give you some of my good deeds. Like who are you for me to talk about you? I'm not going to give you my good deeds. If I'm going to give anyone my good deeds, that will be someone I love, right? My mother, my wife, my children, to the end. But who are you for me to waste my breath talking bad about you just so that I'll give you some of my good deeds? So again, we ask Allah the Almighty to keep us away from backbiting. And what is worse is slander. Our noble scholar Imam al-Qurtubi also mentioned this this incident that occurred during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, just to tell us about the seriousness of backbiting in general. So he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ used to, when he traveled, ضم الرجل المحتاج إلى الرجلين الموسرين فيخدمهما. The Prophet used to connect between those who are in need and those who have easy life, so that the one who has easy life can help those who are in difficult situation. So ضم سلمان إلى رجلين. So the Prophet ﷺ connected Salman to two of his companions, but the name is not mentioned. Usually when a faulty character is mentioned about a companion from the companions of the Prophet, the names are not being mentioned. Why do you think so? In order to preserve their honor, right? So he said, Rajulaini, to two men. فَتَقَدَّمَ Salman. So Salman came home, فَغَلَبَتْهُ عَيْنَاهُ فَنَامَ. So he came home and he was exhausted and tired. So he was overtaken by sleep and he slept. So what happened was, فَجَاءَ فَلَمْ يَجِدَ طَعَامًا وَإِدَامًا. These two men came home and they did not find food to eat or soup to drink. So they said to Salman, انطلق فاطلب لنا من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم طعاما وإداما. They said, go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ask him if he has some food or soup for us to eat. فذهب سلمان. So Salman proceeded to the Prophet. فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اذهب إلى أسامة ابن زيد فَقُلْ لَهُ إِنْ كَانَ عِنْدَكَ فَضْلٌ مِنْ طَعَامٍ فَلْيُعْطِكَ. They came to the Prophet, but the Prophet did not have any food. So the Prophet said, go to Osama bin Zayd and ask him if he has any remnant of food, he should give it to you. وَكَانَ أُسَامَةَ خَازِنَ النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. So Osama was the doorkeeper of the storage of the food of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning the food storage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَذَهَبَ إِلَيْهِ. So he came to Osama. فَقَالَ أُسَامَةَ مَا عِنْدِي شَيْءٍ. So Osama said, I have nothing there. There is nothing. فَرَجَعَ إِلَيْهِمَا فَأَخْبَرَهُمَا. So Salman went back to these two people whom the Prophet connected with him. And he said to them, Osama didn't have any food. The Prophet did not have any food. فَقَالَ قَدْ كَانَ إِنْدَهُ وَلَكِنَّهُ بَخِلٌ ثُمَّ بَعَثَ سَلْمَانَ إِلَى طَائِفَةٍ مِنَ الصَّحَابَةِ. So these two men said, Osama has some food there, but then he's just being stingy. This is what they said about who? Osama bin Zayd. And then they sent Salman again to go to some of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they sent Salman. So Salman went to some of the companions of the Prophet and asked them, and they said, we do not have any food. And he came back and he informed them. فَقَالَ لَوْ بَعَثْنَا سَلْمَانَ إِلَى بِئْرِ سُمَيْهَا لَغَارَ مَاؤُهَا. So when Salman came back and said this to them, they said, you know what? If we are to send Salman to go to the well of Sumayha and bring us water, Salman will come back to us and he will say, the water in the well has drained out. So now they are being what? Sarcastic, right? Now they tell bad about something. They're like, Salman is probably lying. We sent you to the Prophet, you came back and said there is no food. You went to Osama, you said there is no food. We sent you to all these companions of the Prophet, you said there is no food. Even if we are to send you to go to the bi'r, to the well of Sumayha to bring us water, you will come back to us and say the water in the well has drained out. So there's no benefit in sending you. So what do? In talaka, they both have proceeded. يَتَجَسَّسَانِ هَلْ إِنْدَ أُسَامَةَ شَيْءٍ. So they went and they were sneaking to see, spying on Osama. Maybe Osama has some food there, and then he said he does not have some food. So now think about it. Their negative thoughts about Osama lead them to spy on Osama. Their negative thought about Osama lead them to backbite Osama. That's why the Prophet forbade us from having negative thought about our Muslim brothers. You know, if you have a Muslim brother that you know him to be a good brother, do not think negative of him. Because thinking negative of him will make you try to spy and see, all right, what is he up to? So now you're tracing his shortcoming in his privacy. If you trace his privacy, then you're going to talk about him. So tracing the privacy of your brother is considered tajassus, that is spying. That's why he, the Messiah, connected these three things together. He said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu shanibu kathiran min adh-dhann. O you who believe, stay away from many negative thought. Inna ba'da dhanni, indeed, some negative thought is sin. Then he said, wala tajassasu, and do not spy, right? Wala yaktab ba'dukum ba'du, and let not some of you backbite some. So he connected these three things together, beginning with negative thought, and then spying, and then backbiting. So they started to they started to spy on Osama after backbiting Osama and saying that Osama is lying, he is stingy, and he hid the food from them. So while they were doing that, رَآهُمَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. The Prophet saw them. فَقَالَ, and the Prophet said, مَا لِي أَرَى خُضْرَةَ اللَّحْمِ فِي أَفْوَاهِكُمَا. The Prophet said, how come I see fresh meat hanging, in your mouth? And then they said, Ya Nabi Allah, O Prophet of Allah, Wallahi, we swear by Allah, Ma akalna fi yawmina hada. We have not eaten throughout this day, lahman, neither food, wala dayro, or any other thing. We have not eaten anything. We're hungry. We are starving. And the Prophet said, Lakinnakuma dhaltuma. But then both of you have remained throughout the day eating the meat of Salman and Osama. meaning you are backbiting Salman and Osama. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us protection from that. Ameen. So when you backbite somebody, you have eaten his flesh. As a matter of fact, Allah the Almighty wants to show us how ugly this is. He said, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيِّتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Will one of you want to eat the dead body of his brother? Of course, you will dislike it, right? So backbiting your brother is like eating the meat of your brother after he died. Our scholars mention, and that's Imam al-Qurtubi, he said the reason why Allah the Almighty resembled that with eating the body of the meat of your brother is because when you backbite somebody, you are decreasing that individual. So decreasing his honor is like eating his flesh. You are taking some of him out of him. May the Almighty grant us protection from that. Ameen. So there are three things that the Prophet ﷺ commended us to honor, and he mentioned that they are sacred: the blood, the wealth, and the honor. When you backbite somebody, you are violating their honor. When you slander somebody, you are violating their honor. And the Prophet ﷺ was one day circumambulating the Kaaba, and he said, "Ma a'zamaki wa a'zama hurmatiki." He said, "How great you are, and how great is your sacredness." He said, "Ma atyabaki wa atyaba rihaki." He said, "How good you smell, and how good you are, and how good is your smell." Then the Prophet said, "Walladhi nafsi biyadi." I swear by the one in whose hands is my soul. La hurmatul mu'min. The sacredness of the believer in Allah, with Allah, is greater than your sacredness. Then the Prophet expounded on that. He said, "Damu wa malu wa irdu." The sacredness of his blood, his wealth, and his honor. So it is like the Prophet is saying, if someone go to Mecca, right, and grab a hammer and a chisel and break the brick of Kaaba, brick by brick, that with Allah the Almighty is lighter than someone backbiting his brother. This is more severe than that. But little do we ponder over these things. If you are to say to somebody that backbiting your brother is worse than breaking the walls of Kaaba, he will say that, "What's the matter with you? Are you insane?" Right? So the scholars say, "An-nasu la ya'lamun." The people do not know. وَإِذَا عَلِمُوا إِسْتَغْرَبُوا. And when the knowledge comes to them, they estrange the knowledge. Like they do not know that doing this is worse than breaking the bricks of Kaaba. So if the knowledge comes to them, they estrange it. And if they estrange it, what do? They reject the truth. So may the Almighty again grant us understanding of the deen. Ameen. In brief, our time is up, but in brief, this verse below mention the evil qualities that we need to stay away from. After Allah the Almighty praised the Prophet ﷺ that he is upon great noble character, he then mentioned the qualities that we need to stay away from. That includes swearing, unnecessary, lying, backbiting, slandering, gossiping, which is tell-telling. May the Almighty keep us away from that. Ameen. If you have any comment or any question, we will take it to the best of our ability. Jazakumullahu khairan. That's why. You don't make much up. Tired?
You got me in trouble, kid.
Nah?
You got me in trouble.
Motherfucker, what did I do?
I got a missed call 20 minutes ago, but I was focused on your lecture, so I'm like that.
Forgive me.
I forgive you.
MashaAllah. Yeah. Do you have any comment, any question, inshallah?
No.
Okay, Jamil. Habibi. Jamil. Khalas, inshallah, then we will take a break here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
For those that are coming.